let's talk about the chickens. Right, that's what everyone's here for now. Everyone's like, when are they going to get onto the chickens? So I mentioned at the start, lucky clucker or marketing genius. How did this come about?
Very much lucky clucker. Yeah. So the idea of living in rural France was, let's have some animals. Where we lived in Cape Town was quite urban. We were in Camps Bay, which is one of the nice suburbs, but a small back garden. And we had dogs and we had cats, but coming here, the dream was always to have, not quite be self-sufficient, grow your own and stuff, because there's fantastic markets that we'll hopefully see today. And one of the things we wanted to do was chickens. And so there's an organisation in France that rescues them from battery cage hen production. And so we went along with the viewpoint to go and get one each, one for me, one for the wife, one for each of the girls. And the lady was very persuasive. Oh, will you take another? Will you take another? We ended up with 7. And so because we've got the space for them, that wasn't an issue. We brought them home. They were in a bit of a state, I have to say, living in a little cage for 2 years of their life. Their feathers were missing and they had bald patches and, they're a bit underweight and so on. And so we read up a little bit about how to care for them and what you should feed them. And one of the things says free-range chickens are the healthiest. So we just let them roam. And they're so cute in a way that they take themselves back to their coop every night. When the sun starts to go down, it must be bedtime. So they waddle off back and then we close them in at night. And they're great little creatures, love having them. Fresh eggs like you've never seen. The colour. I'm
like a deep orange.
Going to become a cookery program in a minute, but that colour of a yolk that you've never seen before,
like the sun.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable, and the taste is very different, and so having them has been great because the girls have got used to them, and they like to pick them up and stroke them. They're cute little things, and so they become part of our life. And stroke of genius, definitely not. Complete luck. I took a photo one day. They were sort of lined up on the driveway, maybe 5 of them, one behind each other. And I took a photo and I sent it to my wife and said, "They look cute the way they are." She said, "Yeah, they do. That. You should post it, or that's a great photo." And so I thought, I'll stick it on LinkedIn. I didn't have a lot to say that day, and I put this post on about the chickens, thinking,
whatever,
why not? And the amount of people that contacted me. Something different, love your chicken picture. What are their names? You name it. I got every question. And you think, maybe that's just, it was one of those days that perhaps it was a slow news day. But then for the next 2 or 3 weeks, every time I opened a Teams call with someone, the first thing they would say, "Love your chickens." And you start thinking, okay, what about me or the kids, the wife? And so it just became one of those things that I think people like the idea. They're cute little creatures. They're a bit sort of, if you've never grown up with chickens like I hadn't, there's a bit of intrigue there. And so it sort of snowballed in a way. And, you come up with these daft things like Chicken Tuesday. So every week now, the chickens are there to talk about financial planning. And then, Yule's Pools is another daft hashtag I use. But I think it's a break from the norm. When you see regular posters on LinkedIn that are posting the same stuff about financial planning every day, it can become a little bit same. So it's just something different we've done. And I did a video not long ago, which was a real funny day to film it, me in a chicken suit. And so it's become one of those things that I think people... I do get messages. People say, "It's Chicken Tuesday tomorrow." You think, okay,
pressure.
Yeah. So it's just something daft.
I, for one, love it. I love seeing people create content that is authentic, and I think in financial planning it can be a bit stale, and historically it can be a little bit boring. And that's not to say that financial planning is boring, because the fundamentals of what it actually produces in respect of somebody's financial well-being and outlook on life and being able to unlock and achieve the bucket list goals and things, I think it's brilliant. But I think the chicken symbolises that. I think the moving to France, the having your chickens, their free range, having a small holding, being what you said, self-sufficient, creates a picture of the perfect life. And it's the life that when someone closes their eyes and they're on the tube in London or they're driving in their car and it's pissing down rain, they think, oh, Mike's out there living the life. This sounds so cool. So it becomes less about the financial planning and more about the lifestyle that what money or what a happy working relationship can bring. And that's what I think the chickens symbolize to me. And it's a break from the norm. And I think when people think about content creation, what can I do to have a break from the norm? And it's about doing things differently on LinkedIn. There's a few polls that have been out. I put some out myself, and it was really interesting to see that financial planners spend a lot of their time on LinkedIn, but 70 to 80% of them are not generating any business through LinkedIn. How much of their time are they spending scrolling on that newsfeed, liking content from other financial planners to not be able to generate some business? Where's that return on investment? And if you're going to spend time on social media, it has to be, in my eyes, worthwhile. You have to be prospecting. But it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes consistency, and you have to have a hook. And for you, it is the chickens. I grew up with chickens, ducks and chickens and horses and all sorts of stuff. And we had a rooster, Le Coq, as they would call it in France, right? And his name was Boris. Nothing to do with Boris Johnson.
Boris
and
the
a cock.
What do you know?
I'm not calling Boris a cock here.
No.
But we used to have some great fun with Boris. And we had battery hens as well.
Yeah.
And they all came in all weathered and pink hair because they spray them, don't they, to identify them.
Yeah.
But as kids growing up in this little small holding, this little farm, my parents weren't farmers, but they gave us that kind of rural upbringing, out climbing trees and playing with the chickens and the ducks and fishing in the local river and all that kind of stuff. And it was beautiful, you know, and I look back on that with such fondness. And I think, thank you, Mum and Dad, for creating that lifestyle for me. And I close my eyes and I think about the chickens and I think about Boris. Most of the time, he used to jump into the chicken coop and he used to say, Boris, Boris. And he used to come charging at us, right? Like, and they're deadly though.
Yeah.
They're, what they call them? Not their talons, like almost, aren't they?
Claws.
Like, claws.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember it going straight through my welly into my leg when I was a kid. But the aim of the game was, can we wind him up enough for him to chase us, for us to get out there before we get mauled?
Yeah.
How come your chickens don't get taken down by the fox? And I'm waiting to hear about a nasty fox situation.
No, we've had one die with a dog. A neighbour's dog got in, and that was sad. But no, they take themselves back into their coop at night.
Yeah.
We close them in, and then we let them out the next morning. So during the day, no, they're fine. They wander around, and at night they're protected.